what's up? Janky here. I've got a really cool thing for you here. This is one of my new busking setups, and this is a OneManBand Drum Co, the Danky Janky, made specifically for me. As you can see, I've also added the LowBoy to it, but I'm going to kind of play it for you, let you hear it, and then I'll just kind of walk through it and show you what it is. All right, so here it is. Again, this is a OneManBand Drum Co creation. I saw that he had some, he's got some really cool stuff online. And what he had, it has a kick drum, and he uses a license plate over here on this side, and with a different kick pedal. But I just prefer to go full snare, so I contacted, his name's Myler, and said, hey man, can you make this thing with a kick and a snare? So the kick is on the right foot, because I'm right-footed, like a normal drum, the kick, and then the snare is on the left foot. And then I recently acquired one of these. This is called a LowBoy. So this is by DW, and a LowBoy actually has a pretty cool history. These things were used by old jazz and kind of early jazz bands, and so the drummer would, it wasn't a full trap set, but he would use these basically for the exact same reason I am. And so these ship with a really crappy hi-hat, really small. I don't even know what size. It's probably about that big, and they sound absolutely horrible. They shouldn't even put them on there. So I put some, these are 13s, Zildjian, and they sound pretty good. And then of course you top it off with your this tambourine thing here, which is really cheap. I had to put a zip tie there because it came apart. It had a rubber band on it. But that's enough about that. This is the main awesome. So I found a snare on Amazon, cheap snare. I think it was $40, really small snare. And he ordered that, put that on there. Again, this is just an old Suitcase. Beautiful Suitcase. Old school. Who knows where this has been. It ended up here, which is cool. So this is, if I remember correctly, this is a Pearl, kind of a small kick drum. And so he put that one in there, and the way he does this is, so he puts a port on it. And so let me open it up here. Bam. And so, I mean, it's legit. It's a straight up suitcase, like, you know, old school. Smells like an old suitcase, which is cool. So I got it, and I put the lights on it here, and I just used tape, so just shipping tape, and I had to wire it inside of the snare. And again, here's a look at the snare. Cheap snare, you know, sounds good. So whatever, man. No need to reinvent the wheel here. It looks like it's just got a veneer on it, which is supposed to look like a wood, but he's put me some cool messages on here, because again, this is hand built, man. This is hand built stuff. So I ran my light kind of circuit there, and I put I screwed it into the wood. And so these are just rope lights, pretty cheap. You know, when you're busking, it adds a lot to it, and I'm going to give an overview of my whole busking setup here. How I get power and everything, and the equipment that I use. This is another cool thing. So he puts bottle openers. Pretty essential for me. I do love a good IPA. So it's nice to have a really cool bottle opener right there. I put my Janky Holly Springs, Texas sign. That's from the cover of my new CD, which was actually a painting. So it's kind of cool to have the sign as well, but that's on my new CD, Holly Springs, Texas. Robert Kimbrough on drums on that. But this thing, so he mounts these cool things under the bottom here, like this. And it's pretty sure it's just a kind of a hardcore hinge. I did have to put a little plate here, because this pearl pedal it doesn't go down too far. So I had to put the plate on there, whereas this Coda, it mounts fine. He puts a little rubber pad on it, which is cool. So the other modifications I have to do is, seeing how it's such a small drum here from top to bottom, I had to cut this kick beater or rod, whatever you want to call it. So because you have to push this down, you have to slide this down so much that it started hitting the actual drum. So I had to cut that one down. I had to trim this one down as well, because if you don't, they hit too high up on top, right? So I'll give you a little sample. You know, it's got a thick sound to it. I'm still tightening the heads more and more and more. So I did have to put this pad inside of there to deaden it. It just had a big jazz ringy to it, you know, and I like a thump. So that pad in there is part of this, which is part of a kid's seat. This goes under a child seat for a car. So what I did was, that's kind of hard on your bum, so I decided to take this car seat out of the garage, and I did a little modification with X-Acto blades, and fits right there perfectly. I'll give you a round of this thing. Beautiful, man. You know, just a part of reused history. It's really comfortable to sit on now. It is a little different using my heels, but I also own a farmer foot drum, and I just prefer this by far. This feels natural. It feels good. I was using this cajon, and I had a foot pedal hooked up on it, but this is just, it's so cool. It's you know, it's part of history, and it's easy to travel with. It's great to busk with. So I'm going to have some busking videos of it, and so hit this guy up. Got a link down below in the comments, or in the description. So check him out. I'll play another song for you. the interesting, really hard thing to pay attention to when you're playing foot drums and things like this is you got to really work the dynamics of the song, and it's really, really complicated because you're singing, you're playing guitar, but at the last kind of on the fringe of your kind of concentration is the fact that you're working this. So I'm still trying to get this down, but there's several ways that I can do this setup. So you can do it tight, do it loud. My thing came off here, but on the outside of the pedal, just a hi-hat, just a snare. So when I move my foot back, and the interesting thing is there's only a certain number of beats that I can really do. You know, you've got the, and you got the kind of the same beat. It's one of those things that when I start playing, I just kind of figure out what the beat is based on kind of how I want to move the groove. And basically, when busking, like what really moves the people, because something like, you know, that's got a good groove to it, you know. So that's got a slow groove to it. Maybe they have some whiskey, you know, that's a good. So it's my belief that the hill country music and the cotton patch soul music is you know, it's by far the best as far as making people move. On that, so stuff like that's really hard because you gotta pay attention to that one. Just and so one good exercise, man, is to play a solo over stuff like this because you know, anytime you play a really good kind of, you can do some good solos and you get kind of off the rhythm, which is on purpose, you know. So. Hard stuff, man. I was barely hanging on there, but check out my stuff. GetJanky.com. Follow me on Facebook and stuff like that. Subscribe to my channel here. I've got plenty more stuff like this, so I'm going to be doing pretty soon a video that just shows you all the different busking setups that I use or have used. So hope you enjoy. Go out there, busk, make some money, have fun playing the music. People love it when you busk. So I also just recently created a channel on Facebook called The Busking Musician. So it's a group. Go check it out. Thanks, man.